Okay, it's been a week now. The beer is finished fermenting.
The fermented wort is ready to go into stage 2 of the fermentation, which is to be bottled with some sugar to continue fermenting.
The most important thing in bottling is sanitization. Because everything's cold, you want to make sure that all the equipment that you're using has been sanitized. I use a solution called peroxysan, which is a hydrogen peroxide sanitizer that's available from most homebrew stores. You can get yours at theschoolofhops.co.za. Make sure that anything that touches the liquid or the bottles is sanitized before you start. What we're going to do now is we're going to go into the second phase of fermentation, which is we're going to bottle it and add a little bit of sugar to reactivate the yeast, and they will then ferment in the bottles under pressure. We're going to need a siphon tube, some bottles with flip top caps, swing top caps, or bottles that you can seal, and a little bit of sugar. So what we're going to do is add half a teaspoon of sugar to each bottle before we siphon, and that sugar will be enough to reactivate the yeast. If you look pretty closely, you'll see at the bottom of the bucket there's a layer of yeast. We don't want to suck it up, we just want this. So it's handy to have a rigid piece that you can hold. There we go. If we used a thicker siphon tube, this would go much quicker, but I'm not in a rush. There you go, 1 down, 6 to go. You want to leave a bit of headroom at the top for some gas. It will build up pressure. Hopefully it won't explode. So our 5-litre brew actually made 7 bottles, like 7 450 ml bottles. We've got a little bit of yeast left over. I would keep it in the fridge, and you can reuse it for the next brew that you make. What happens next, we have to put these 7 bottles away at room temperature for another 7 days. That will allow the yeast to consume the sugar that we've introduced to the bottles. They will build up some pressure, so the drinks themselves will carbonate. After 7 days, we're going to put them into the fridge to cool down, and then after 2 days we'll be able to drink them. See in 7 days. We have brewed our beer. It's been fermenting for 7 days. It's now spent another 7 days in the bottle on some sugar. It's also spent the last 3 days in the fridge. Today is the most important taste test. So here we go. Hopefully it's good. Okay, there's some carbonation. Cheers. Yeah, not bad for 5-litre beer made on the stove in a pasta pot. Give it a try.